Karis, good evening.
Good evening, Phil. Good evening, everyone. It's a delight to be here today. Thank you for inviting me.
Welcome to the Northwest of England district for our online worship. It's so good to see you. Karis, where are you in the world tonight?
I'm in Retford in very, very sunny Nottinghamshire.
Very good, very good. It's so good to have you join with us on Action for
Thank you.
Children Sunday. I'm guessing it's quite a busy time for you.
Yes, always busy round about now because there's Methodist conference as well, just back from that. So lots of people I've known over the years. For me, it's almost like a reunion, even though it's business for others. And then already we started thinking about Christmas. So that's all while Action for Children Sunday services are happening today and on many other Sundays.
Karis, thank you. And that video, I think, set the scene for us really well. So some of us will
Mm,
be remembering Action for Children as National Children's Home, and
yeah.
some people in the room will have a long history of supporting the Methodist Children's Charity, which has changed its shape. But the video kind of points to different aspects of the work of Action for Children.
Mm.
And in there, Kerry does a good job of narrating that, doesn't she? And she
She
said,
does.
why would you do it? You could have chosen a quiet job. You could have chosen an easy job. So I'm asking you, Karis, tell us about your job. Is it an easy job, a quiet job? You're the faith partnerships lead for Action for Children. So how long
Yes.
have you been in that post, and tell us a bit about that post?
This month, it makes exactly 10 years that I joined Action for Children.
Okay,
And my very, very first day at work was actually at the Methodist conference. So
good choice.
it's, really an interesting coincidence. But Faith Partnerships lead, it's a very interesting role in my view and, quite unique where I sit. I see myself as a bridge, a connector between the Action for Children charity as it is and our Methodist family. Three things are really, really important to me. One, that we're communicating with you. So, what information does the church need to know from an accountability point of view, from a stewardship point of view, even just to pray as well about what we do? And then, secondly, engagement as well. How can you take part in what we do? And Action for Children Sunday is one of them. So, the work that goes on behind the scenes, getting worship booklets ready for other fundraising events. That's part of what I do as well, making sure that those who want to support us are equipped, to actually be able to support us. And I mentioned communications, I mentioned engagement, and the final one is stewardship, really important to me. It's really important because having the Methodist Church support us for so long, this year turns 156 years that we've been established. To me, it's really important that we steward the relationship effectively, make sure that you have what you need, as I said early on, but also thanking you. Thanking you, carrying you along with what's going on. As you said, we started as a children's home, and that particularly says what it does on the tin. But in terms of you supporting us, it's important for me that you know what you're supporting as well. And that comes under the stewardship part. When people send in money, making sure that we've acknowledged that we're accountable as well.
Brilliant. Thank you, Karis. What brings you the greatest joy in your role?
I'm not joking, but when I'm with the Methodists, really, it does because my job I can be behind a computer, laptop, doing all the preparatory work. But gosh, conference. I know for some people in their minds they're thinking, oh, business meeting. I'm going to be here for a week, but for me, it's like yippee! I'm going to see my friends. So actually going out to churches as well. I was at a garden party and when I meet our Methodist family, it's not just about the networking, but it's the stories that they share with me. It's just so inspiring what you hear. People talk about generations. I've stood in the queue at the Methodist Women in Britain Residential, and there were three generations right ahead of me in the queue. And you think about it, and I think that is just amazing. So I think being able to, in quote, forgive me, brag in house and say, this is what my Methodist family have done, does bring me a lot of joy. And sharing the stories with my colleagues, for them, it's mind blowing sometimes when you say, oh, so supported us for 80 years. It's like 80 years, that's a lifetime, but they're still going strong.
Yeah, great. It would be very interesting to ask the people we've got in the room tonight how long they've been supporting National Children's Day and Action for Children. Between us, we'll have totted up decades, centuries of support probably for
Yes.
the charity.
Yes.
What, Karis, some of us know a bit about Action for Children. None of us know all about Action for Children. Maybe you don't even. But what would you most want us to know tonight about the work of Action for Children?
I'd like to tell you about the 5 key areas we support, but I also want you to know that in every way that you support us, it makes a difference. So, various ways that we receive support from the church, including fundraising, signing petitions, and volunteering, and all that adds up. And it's servicing, some of our key areas of work. So, for instance, sorry, just scrolling down to my notes. Never know all of them in order. There we are. So, child poverty, still a big thing. 4.5 million children in the UK growing up in poverty. And it's so important that we remain where we're needed so that we're resourced, help families. Just imagine a parent opening their cupboards or not even opening it because they know it's empty. So we've got a crisis fund. It's for emergency grants. It covers things like food, utility bills, other essentials. And that really started from around about the pandemic. There are other ways that we've really, supported poverty, but um, what happened at the time, that crisis, just really more or less shed a light on how bad poverty is. And it gave us new focus, hence the crisis fund. We also support families. So we know that, a secure, loving family, it's important to the well-being of children. And we find that sometimes parents need extra support. And sadly, with the local authorities, there's a lot they used to do before, but there's so much more that's now been moved to the box of nice to have. And so you have people who are struggling on their own, there's nobody around. And we know that early intervention, helps support children so that later on in life, they're able to thrive, they're able to make good use of opportunities. So there are a range of services that we offer in children's services centers, children's center settings as well. We've got family hubs as well, which is something new where people, parents could come for classes around parenting, managing behavior. There's so many things. We know we can't reach everywhere. So we've also got Parent Talk. It's an online free confidential service. So parents can actually phone up and say, could you give me advice on something? But we've also got online articles. Another area which is quite new to me and quite fascinating, the more I listen to colleagues talk about it, is the criminal exploitation of children. So we're leading the way in helping children who are criminally exploited, estimated to be tens of thousands of children at risk in the UK. So we've created services which support them in some major UK cities. Hasn't been, rolled out across the UK completely. I think there are about 5 services started somewhere in Scotland. And so through that, we're working. There've been some reports. You've probably seen a bit of communication about some of the reports, trying to understand, the scale of the problem and what we can do, and also highlighting that so that the government can do something about it. And finally, children in care. We still do children's homes. And the first time I went into a children's home, I was quite surprised. I was pleasantly surprised, to be candid, because historically you think of long dormitories, forlorn children, just, grateful to be out of the cold. But these are more intimate settings. There might be just 3, 4 children there. In some cases, we even have siblings put together in a home, and you could walk along the street and you have no idea, that it's, a home. Sadly, every 15 minutes, a child goes into care. So it's an area that we will continue, to look at with these family style children's homes and offer them stability, security, and love, everything they deserve. So that's our work. Just a broad overview of our work.
That's fantastic, Karis. And just to say, you're going to stay on for a few minutes after the worship if people want to stay a little for a question and answer time, because you've touched on so many different areas of life, from child poverty. Really interested to hear how Parent Talks developed, and that free service for people to just get advice. There's a whole range of pieces of work that are quite fascinating. Tell us about this year's Action for Children Sunday, the video that we've just seen. What's the particular theme and the particular approach to Action for Children Sunday 2025?
I was inspired to choose that theme because last year, as organizations do, we sat down, we thought about how we communicate what we do. And something that's been a thread throughout the years, particularly with our staff, is love. Why do we do what we do? It's the love for the children. I talked about our homes. When you see staff that work that work within children's homes, for instance, who have been there for double digits for so long, why would they do it? It's for the love of the children. It's because we want them to have that safe and happy childhood that eventually means that they can thrive, they can become something in life. And we know that our supporters too have stuck with us for so long, 156 years. It's totally amazing. And I probably ask you too, why would you do it? It's the love. It's the love that we have for the children, the love that Christ has put in us as well. I think one of the scriptures early on, I'm not sure whether it's the Matthew 9 one or the Matthew 14 one, where it talks about Christ's compassion. In that setting, it was probably just, Christ and his 5,000 or 4,000, depending on which version, in which he saw the state of people. But for us as well, we see a different situation. We see the state of people. And now, us being driven by love, us saying to the crown, sit down, is us offering these services. And we know that our partners, our closest family, the Methodist Church as well, when we ask them to join us in reflecting, how exactly can we show children love? How can we demonstrate that practical love? How can we be driven by love to make sure that each child, a child that's lost their parents, a young carer, for instance, I didn't mention our young carers, to make sure that they have a good quality of life. It's when we're driven by Christ's love, I believe. For me as a Christian, of course, but with my colleagues as well, at the bottom of what we do, what keeps us passionate, what keeps us, pressing for change when we're speaking to the government, what keeps us, coming back to ask for more every year, to ask for more donations. It's because at the heart of what we do, there's love for children, that transformational power that God has put within us.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. And quite often we see in the gospel stories that transformational power comes from that place of compassion and love, that Jesus is stirred to stop and do something amazing. The story that was chosen, which Zoe read for us tonight, the feeding of the 5,000, as you say, in other places, 4,000. Obviously, we have this part of the story where it's a child who, the child's offering actually, the adults in the place are going, how on earth are we going to do this? A little child's gift of, well, you can have what I have. And that's the miracle then of sharing, isn't it? And the miracle of God's provision. So what you've hinted at it. What does the story of the feeding of the 5,000 have to say to the work of Action for Children, do you think?
There are many things, but I'll point out one or two. You've touched on the young boy who's brought his meal to feed 5,000. When we change the life of a child that otherwise wouldn't have had hope, we're changing them for the future. The young people we're helping today are going to go on to become social workers, some teachers, some are going to be in parliament, some are going to be in our local councils. And so we're opening up an opportunity for them to feed the 5,000. The other thing is Christ saying, sit down, I'll feed you. For us, not just Action for Children, but even with our supporters, every time we do something for children and their families, once again, we're asking them sit down. We're inviting them to a table of some sort. We're saying, those opportunities that you don't have, we're going to create it. We're going to whip up a meal that satisfies. Some people are going to be vegetarian. Some people are going to, be pescatarian. Some people are going to be meat eaters. And the needs of the families we work with are so diverse. And the money we get helps us to, innovate. It helps us to explore options. It helps us to test. It helps us to acquire, you know, new ways of doing things, new people. And that's just my second point about what we do, asking people to sit down, eat. Let's meet your needs. Let's give you, physical, mental, intellectual foods that can satisfy your needs. So two of the things that come to mind.
Thank you. I love both of those. I love the idea that whenever we're supporting Action for Children, we're opening up the potential for another child or young person to feed 5,000. Yeah, you articulated that really, really brilliantly, Karis. Thank you. And the importance of inviting people to sit down. I just think of the stress and anxiety that is around when people's families are in crisis or when poverty hits.
Yeah.
And the gift said, just sit down, just
Mm.
rest a while and let us. Oops. I'm back. A little glitch. Yes, just sit down a while, rest a while, and let us tend to your needs. Those are beautiful things to draw out of that passage.
Yeah. And my colleagues share so many anecdotes of families who just come in, parents beside themselves, and they just sit and they're safe with the staff. They can cry, just let it all out, but they leave with hope. They leave feeling loved. And all that is because, people like you support us to be able to resource those services when there's nowhere to turn to, when they're lonely, we're the place that they can come to.
Thank you, Karis. Well, you said that one of the aspects of your work is around engagement. And so I know Becca and I put in the chat right at the beginning, there's the link for people to donate. That's maybe something that if people haven't had the opportunity to do this Action for Children Sunday, just to think about donating something as a result of being here tonight. But how else might people engage, Karis? How can we learn more and support the work? You talked about communicating to churches. Maybe people here would like to find out more and kind of advocate for Action for Children in their circuit. I must just say we've just appointed, or Synod in September, to be correct, is going to appoint our Northwest England District Ambassador or Champion, Chris Pritchard, who I think you know Chris.
Yes, I do. So I was quite excited to hear
Yeah,
that.
well, Chris is taking on that lead role in the district for us. But I guess
Fantastic.
every circuit, every church could have an Action for Children champion. So this is your opportunity. Karis, Faith Partnership Lead, how can we engage with Action for Children in all the ways that you've already hinted?
First of all, prayer. Seriously, prayer. Action for Children has got a staff network. We just simply called the Action for Children Christian Network, and we really do take, being able to pray seriously, because we know prayer does change things. So that's definitely one that I can easily ask of Methodists. And secondly, as well, signing up to receive information from us, because that way you'd know things that you could take part in, you know things you can pray about, and then as well you'd learn more about our work, so that even if you were to advocate for our work, talk to somebody else, about us, you come from, a place of knowing a bit about what we do. Visiting our website as well is a good place to learn about what we do. Another one that I'm also passionate about is people signing up to become campaigners as well. Every now and again, we might have a petition. They're not long, really. We've made it, most of them are done in a way that it's so easy for people to add their voice. Because sometimes you have people in government who they haven't experienced what it's like, out in the community, and it's hard to explain to them. But we're resilient. We won't give up. There have been situations, even locally, whereby we've wanted to maybe put a children's home in a particular place, and it's been the Methodists that have advocated. So every signature, every voice is so important. In the chat, I've also put in a sign-up link for Faith Space. So we run that approximately quarterly, so about 3 a year. And it's just 50 minutes. We'll talk about a service or maybe a campaign if there's a live campaign at the time. Some of our supporters as well share what they're doing, and really it's been mind-blowing. Whenever I share the whatever they said with colleagues, it's like, gosh, how do people manage to do all these amazing things? But yes, Methodists are amazing, that's a fact. So a couple of things I've mentioned: signing up to attend Faith Space, where you can get news, signing up to receive, information directly emailed to you. I do send information to the district comms as well, and it's really, really been helpful, to see how people have responded every now and again when we've asked for information. And then definitely donations, legacies as well. Nothing is too small, nothing. Remember that young lad? He brought his little meal and that meal multiplied. So that's another way as well. But I'll keep on sending the information to district comms as well, so that as those opportunities arise, you'll be well informed.
Thank you. Thank you so much for giving us your time tonight. We all appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been a joy to be here.
About
Thank
your
you.
role. I don't know if you're comfortable to share an email address where people could be in touch with you.
Oh, yeah.
You've talked about attending churches or events, or maybe if you are happy to do that in the chat, and if there are people here who want to make contact directly with you, then that would be great.
Yes, I'll put that in the chat right now.
I would encourage people. I was thinking earlier on, we're about 6 months into our district online worship. Being a new district, it's been good to get this up and running. We never ask for an offering. It's a free church to come along to. There's never an offering. So that might just encourage some to click on the donate to Action for Children link tonight and think, well, this is my offering for the district online worship tonight. And one of the other things that you said we could do is pray. So we'll look forward to having a bit of a Q&A with you at the end. Anybody who wants to stay just for a few minutes with questions arising out of all that you've shared, thank you for offering to do that. But Becca is now going to lead us on in our worship as we do pray for the work of Action for Children and yourself. Karis, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.
God bless you.